All right, guys, welcome back to another episode. I'm super excited. Today is Tuesday, March the 10th. It's the 71 or 72. Did we do one last? 71. It's the 71st episode of the podcast. I'm super excited. If you guys are new, we're posting these up again on the gram. We were posting them up on YouTube, but we're now posting them on the gram and obviously anywhere you get your podcast. Every day, if you're new, every single day, I jump into the studio after work when I'm in the office here to decompress, tell some things and stories and advice and struggles and things like that I'm dealing with, so that maybe it can help a few of you guys out. And I take this opportunity to answer some questions too. So any questions that you guys have, I try to answer them on the podcast. So, all right, without further ado, guys, anyway, it doesn't really matter what the topic is. The boys will they'll get a thumbnail and they'll put a title in for this. But today was a crazy day. I woke up, I went to the gym, I came here to the office, we had a board meeting, and right away, I started doing orientation for a whole bunch of people that were hiring. And it was kind of a crazy day because right now I feel like completely exhausted, yet I don't really remember what happened in the day. It was kind of a blur because things were moving super fast. And one of the questions I get a lot is like, Dan, how do you cope with the growth that you guys have? By the way, if you guys don't know exactly, I don't have a watch on. Do we got a watch? Christian, can you hook me up with a watch? If you guys don't know who or what we do, so I run a company called Atlas Creative Group. I started it. So I don't just do the watch. For you guys who think that I just have the watch company, the watch company is a side project. It's a way of me giving back. It's something that I wanted to create to tell my story. But we run a holding company called Atlas Creative Group. We are like one of the fastest growing companies in Asia, which is pretty awesome, pretty cool. But with that comes a lot of like stresses and headaches. By the way, I'm not the CEO. I'm just the founder and one of the partners in the company. I chose not to be the CEO because I am not really good with dealing with like the whole operations side of things. I'm really good at coming up with crazy new ideas, but I'm not really good at doing that. So we have amazing people that are in place to manage and run the company, so that if I decide to go to like Bali for a week or two, or try to do this, or travel between our offices, then things don't fall apart, right? It's about putting things into place so that things don't fall apart. And this is kind of like in your life as well. Like if you know that something is going to attack you, okay? If you know that you easily get sick, what can you do in order to put something into place that will safeguard you against that? So going back to the question of like, how do you cope with everything? How do you cope with moving super fast, and how do you manage the stress that it comes on? And one of the many things, I do a lot of things. So like keeping my health maintained and eating the right things and being on a proper diet and making sure that I give myself time on the weekend, on Sundays, just to decompress. And then also just having a space where I can create. Like I believe all of us have been created, therefore we create. And when we create, it brings us closer to knowing what our gifts are, right? So that's why testing, if you test something, the more you test, what you like, then you have to taste a whole bunch of different foods to find out what you actually like. The same thing as like people that have a whole bunch of different jobs because they don't know what they like. It's the same thing with like knowing your gifts. You have to create, you have to produce in order to find out the gifts and the purpose that you've been put on this earth to do. And for me, that is like coming up with brands. It's like the expression of my creativity through the operations and creation of a brand itself. Boy, does it ever get busy up in here. All right? And Christian has been on the same path, and I know a lot of you guys are on a similar path where you're starting to do something that you love. Well, you're starting to, find out something that you're like, whoa, I'm actually a little bit passionate about it. If it's something that keeps you up at night, you know that it is something that is pulling you towards that specific thing. It could be anything. If you're a singer, or if you aspire to be a singer, and you fall in love with the song, you listen to it over a hundred times, right? The same thing if you're like an actor, right? You're constantly consuming your trade and critiquing all these different movies. Like for instance, for those of you guys who watch the Oscars, I skipped through it. I watched a couple things, but there was a movie that won like 5 Oscars. How many Oscars? 6 Oscars? 4 Oscars? And it was this Korean movie. I think it's called Parasite. Parasite. It's a funny story. I actually went to watch it. I watched it was super late. It was like on Sunday, and I just decided to watch. I sometimes I don't even watch movies at all. I don't watch Netflix. My Netflix is like, my decompression is like having conversations with people that are, striving to do crazy things. Like I love hearing stories. Anyway, I go watch this movie, and it was all in Korean. It was all in Korean. I think it was Korean or Japanese. Korean. And first of all, for those guys who do not know, I'm a very slow reader. So like I go to this movie, and I go to movies to decompress, but I'm watching the movie that I thought was in English. It's in Korean, and there's English subtitles, and I can't even follow along, and I'm at the edge of my seat because it's a pretty intense movie. And I'm trying to like follow along and read the subtitles. Anyways, crazy experience. But what I was trying to say is that in order to find your passion, in order to find your gifts, you have to continue to test different things all the time. And the more you do it, all right, the more you go in and find that gift that you have, the more it consumes you. And now it's very tricky into controlling this, okay? It's super simple. Look back at all the artists of all time. Look at movie stars even. There are a whole bunch that committed suicide through abusing of drugs. Who was it that cut their ear off? Van Gogh? Was it Van Gogh? I think it was Van Gogh. He did a self-portrait, but he cut his ear off. Like, why is it that some creators can maintain a healthy balance and some creators are consumed and enslaved by their creations? And one of the things that I work on all the time, which is a specific thing that I call faith. All right? The belief that knowing that something will be okay without actually knowing that it will be okay. All right? So let me break this down really quick. And this can get really complicated. For me, when there's so many things going around in my life and so many projects that I'm starting, like how do I stay sane? I'll have an idea and I'll act on it and we'll create something. Like for instance, yesterday we created Kuhn Backpacks, which is a possibly a future insane company, which is really cool, designing backpacks and stuff like that. Go check it out. The same time, I have like 100 million other ideas that come to my mind, and that is only because I have continued to do that over and over and over. Now, Christian, he has just started going into marketing and advertising, and he's like fallen in love with the idea that he can produce something that will produce results for him without him actually having to maintain it. Now he's obsessing over it, but it's starting to control him. He's sick as a dog right now in the office. I gave him some garlic. He can't sleep. He wakes up, he's completely obsessed over his creation. And how, and if you've been in this situation before, I'm sure, if you're a creator, if you're someone that has had excitement, maybe you saw a girl or boy and they started to plague your mind. Like how can you control that? And I'll give you a couple things. One is you need to practice faith. You need to practice letting things go. You need to practice not worrying about anything, all right? Not worrying about anything. And this is very, very, very hard. Very, very hard. But if you practice not worrying about anything, all right, it'll start to bring a mental clarity, okay? So one of the things that I do is if I feel like I'm getting a little bit, a little bit of an anxiety, or if I feel like I can't sleep, work on breathing. Take a cold shower. Go for a run. Go exercise. Those are some things I do. I oftentimes in the morning, I take a cold shower, like a really cold shower. And then I breathe as deep as I can, like eight breaths, okay? Everybody says take a deep breath, right? You know that saying? It's like, calm down, just take a deep breath. Well, there's a scientist in Japan said you actually have to take 8 consecutive deep breaths in order to bring your mind to a state of relaxation or bring your body to relaxation. So remember that. 8 breaths if you're in a situation where your mind is starting to get a little foggy. Another thing that I do is I change my environment. Oftentimes I'm sleeping at the office. Sometimes I'm sleeping at this hotel, this hotel, this hotel, this hotel, this hotel, this hotel, this hotel. And still, I'm able to continue through that changing in the environment. I'm able to not like stay still and not get overwhelmed with my environment and my thoughts, okay? So those are the couple things that I do. So how do I cope with it? Those are the things. If you are in a situation right now where you are, and this can come from several different things. It can come from being obsessed about something, like your creations when you're making things. Like if you plan to ever start a brand, if you plan to embark on an entrepreneurship journey, and I believe every single one of us have creativity in us. Therefore, we have aspects and areas of entrepreneurship in us. Everybody, it's not something special. It's not someone special. Everybody has a gift to create. And when you embark on this journey, I can promise you, you will deal with these things. You will deal with your mind getting completely bombarded with ideas, and then people completely coming after your attention. Like one of the biggest things that I deal with every single day is I get like knocks on my door, like knock, knock, knock. And I'm like, let someone in, and then like I start talking, knock, 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 right? It's like as soon as you start to go and do something, there's a tsunami of people that are trying to take attention from you. But the beauty is the more you produce and the more you create on something that is a gift that you've been given, for instance, an artist, if you share that gift and you share it from a point of self-awareness that you're not doing this to get gratification from other people, but you're doing this because you truly love to do it, then you will find a community. You will grow. You will gain people that will start to follow you, and you will gain greater influence. And this is the one thing I try to do every single day is like I try to put my raw self, and this is why I do this podcast. Like I try to come down to earth on the level that I can, because I believe it doesn't matter how many people know my name, doesn't matter how many people hear this, doesn't matter how many people wear the watch, doesn't matter how many people are affected by the brands that we create or interact with the brands that we create. As long as I know that I'm going all in on the gifts that I've been given, not to get gratification and not to feel valued, but because I'm doing it because I truly love to do it. And just by doing that brings gratification. If you can get to that spot, I can promise you, you will have a beautiful peace, a peace of mind, a state of not having to worry about anything, because you know that you're doing everything that you possibly can. If you're going all in on the gifts that you've been given, if you're not worried about situations that will arise, because situations will always arise, all right? Situations will always arise. People will always try to attack you. People will always try to take the creations that you have. People will always steal your ideas. People will always come after you. This is just reality, because people are searching and people are grasping for the next thing. They're grasping for the next art piece. They're the next song, the next thing, the next feel good. All right, this is natural. But if you can get onto the level where you're completely doing everything that you do because you truly love it, you will feel a sense of peace that comes onto you. And this doesn't have to be something that you do when you are starting your own thing. You can do this right now. It's called being grateful for the situation that you're in and giving 100%, not trying to cheat in an environment because you think you can get more out of the situation, or you can coast in life, because that only goes into a state of a void that we were talking about before, where you're not producing, and then you have a blank space that will just like consume you, because your thoughts, if it's left in a dry area, like this is like where people say like, hey, my life is at like a lull right now. Like if your life is at a lull right now, take a step back and like think of like, Okay, why is it? Like, don't make an excuse that you're in that situation. Figure out how to solve that. Figure out how to solve that. And the way you solve it is by asking questions. How do we think? I was asking the boys earlier. How do we think? All right? I was asked this question when I was younger. And it was the most powerful question ever, because I was like, how do we think? Like, how do we think? How does one think? You think by having conversations in your mind. Should I do this? Yes. No. Can I do this? Yes. Maybe. No. Should we go there? No, because it's of this and this and this. Why not? What if we don't do this? What if we go this way? What if we go this way in life? Asking questions, always asking yourself questions. This is how we think. The more we do that on a positive level, the more we're able to get out of a situation that we're in. So ask yourself, what are you doing right now? Why are you listening to this? Why are you watching this? Why are you hanging out with the people that you're hanging out with? What brought you to that situation? Are you happy? Do you actually like it? Do you want to be there? What do you want to do? What are some of your goals? Why do you have those goals? Do you think you can get those goals? Why not? Is it unachievable? Is it achievable? I ask myself the same questions, like how, and this blows my mind, and I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying this to bring myself onto the same level that you guys are at. I grew up on a farm. I first grew up in Jamaica. Then when my parents moved back to Canada, I grew up on a farm. I'm in the Philippines right now. I travel the world. I'm a founder of a company that has over 500 people in an office. 30 people came in today for interviews. 50 people are coming in tomorrow for interviews. How is that possible? And if that's possible, why are you doubting the dreams that you have? Do you want to travel? Do you want to inspire people? Do you want to be a singer? Why are you not doing those things? Is it self-doubt? Is it questions and things in your mind that you're saying, no, I can't, no, I can't, no, I can't? Is it other people saying, oh, you should probably just take a normal walk in life, because then you don't hurt other people and you don't get in other people's face, and you just want to live a simple life, because at the end of the day, what do you want to do? Ask yourself. Give yourself permission to ask yourself, what do you want to do? Do you want to travel the world? Do you want to be a singer? Do you want to be an artist? Why are you not doing those things? Because you know that when you do those things, that brings you a little bit of joy. Because when you do those things, you know you've been gifted in those things. And then some people will see, hey, whoa, yo, like that picture that you just edited, that song you just sang at karaoke, that thing that you just did here, right? You feel gratitude because someone else appreciates your work, right? I produce because people appreciate our work. People buy the watch. People buy our other products, right? And as long as that comes from a heart, as long as that comes from a good heart, it's okay to grow. It's okay to have influence. It's okay to want to be famous. It really is okay. As long as you have a very good heart going into it and you're not looking for gratification. Because if something goes away, by the way, take your phone for an example, okay? Your phone. Try this. Try to leave the house or leave your area today without your phone. Try it. Oh, it's an amazing example. Try disconnecting from this for 1 day. Try disconnecting from this for 2 days. And everything that you had on there was lost. How does that make you feel? I can tell you this, if it makes you feel a little bit antsy, and it did at the start for me, because I'm like, if I lose my phone, that's pictures, that's history, that's life, that's everything. If you feel that too, you got to work on that. You got to work on that disconnect, because you cannot pursue. I mean, you can pursue the things that you want, influence, the branding, the whatever, the singing, the art, the anything. But if you don't have that disconnect, you're going down a path that is going to self-destruct. You're going down a path that is going to blow up in your face, and you will have a moment in your life where you have insane anxiety. Because I had that. I had that 2 years ago. I was like, why am I building this business if I'm a slave to this business? Why am I doing this if I'm a slave? I was traveling and posting pictures, and I'm like, I'm not happy. I'm not happy at all. I may look happy on the outside, but I'm not happy at all, right? Why was I doing it? Why was I posting fancy pictures of me traveling, climbing mountains in Australia and Bali, all these sort of things 3 years ago? Why was I doing that? I was doing that for gratification from other people. I wanted to do that because I was like, hey, yo, I'm traveling and you're just living your life at home and not doing the same thing, right? I wanted to be cool. I wanted to have influence because that's what brought me gratification. Not knowing that everything that I did in my life, the gifts that I've been given, the opportunities that I've been given, I wasn't doing it because I truly love to do it. I was doing it because I was hoping for gratification from others. And in that gratification from others, that's where I found my happiness. Not being truly grateful for who I am, the gifts that I've been given today, tomorrow, yesterday, everything, every moment, finding gratitude, even if it's in a tough situation, trying to find the gratitude, because the reality is, guys, we are so small. There's so much more out there that is 100% bigger than us. All right? I believe we were created. That's why we create. When we create, it brings us closer to knowing who we are. Guys, go out and create something for your own. Go out and go all in on the things that you know you want to do and that's bugging you in the back of your mind. Don't wait 40 years. Don't wait 20 years. Don't wait 1 year. Don't wait 3 months. Don't say, I will do it tomorrow. Don't say, I will do it in 6 months. Don't say, I will do it later, because it won't happen. All right? I do this every single day. And I'm just like you. I'm practicing this same action of executing right away. Guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode. We're doing this every single day. Happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Oh my goodness. We should play some salsa Mexican music because it's Taco Tuesday. I'm going to get some tacos. I really think I'm going to get some tacos now. I didn't even think about it. Anyway, if you haven't got the watch already, go check it out. When you get the watch, all the profits go to two organizations, Compassion International and World Vision. And you can also get it for free on your birthday. Just send me a DM on Instagram when it's your birthday, and we'll send you a free watch. I write a letter about my story and the things that I continue to do. I try to just share. I try to share and to bring things into reality, because the reality is we're not different from each other in any way. We have different gifts and different skills, maybe different skin tones, maybe different hairstyle, height, all these sort of things. But we still have been given an opportunity to go out there and chase, and go out there and go all in on the gifts that we've been given, and go all in on helping other people, and go all in on our purpose once we find it after we test a lot of different things. All right, guys? So thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I hope you brought value. We don't run advertisements on this. If you found value, please share it to 1 or 2 people, or share it on your timeline or whatever, if you feel like this could help someone. And that's why I do it. I do these podcasts because I want to help people. I want to help people. I want to look back at where I was at this time in my life, and I want to inspire people to go all in on the things and gifts that they've been given, because everybody else is saying you can't. Everything else is saying you can't. Society is putting up a picture of what is perfect, and it's wrong. It's wrong. You are perfect the way you are, but you can work on improving yourself. It is okay to be overweight. And it's also okay to work on a goal if you want to be healthy, if you want to have a better body, if you want to do that. But like I said, if you're doing that because you need gratification from others, then be very careful, because that could lead down a very dangerous path. Guys, thank you so much for listening to this. I will see you guys tomorrow. Happy Tuesday. Happy birthday if it's your birthday. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Good night.